pool from last season.
All right, gamers, it's time for the RGH podcast. Now, normally we would do this on Wednesday at 9 p.m., but YouTube's like, you know what, guys? How about we just don't work all day, and then we'll work 1 minute before you go live. We normally would do this every Wednesday night. This is the RGH podcast, and that's our night. But because we're real gamers, we just grinded all day on Destiny, and then we did it today. So we moved it 1 day. Normally it's on Wednesday. Put in your calendars because I don't want you to miss it next week. I am Mtashed. I've got Kackis here. I've got True Vanguard. I won't stop introing until I'm done introing, okay? You wait. You interrupt enough. We've already tried to replace you.
We're not even 2 minutes into the show.
Oh my god.
Derailed.
Today's going to be a lot of Destiny, though. This is, huge DLC just dropped. New subclasses, new everything. I'm amazed. How you guys doing?
Hey, man, I'm good. We've been grinding.
I was going to say, YouTube, basically, they looked at our views and they're like, these guys are killing the podcast game. We need to give everyone else a chance. But trying to get us off air, they shut the whole system down because we're just gaming too hard. They couldn't even handle it. I may or may not have an email from my YouTube contact saying essentially exactly that. This is big news, boys.
Show it. Prove it.
Expose it.
I'll show it later. Don't worry about it. But for now, yeah, we got, dude, Beyond Light's interesting. It's like half hype, but there's a lot of people very upset with what Stasis is doing to the Crucible, which is interesting. It's kind of like a big debate right now.
It's very vocal, I'm finding on Twitter. Like everyone has spoke up about it so far. And,
Twitter vocal? No way.
A lot of influencers have given their takes. And I could be reading it wrong, but from what I can gather, I'm seeing more negative takes from influencers and content creators than I'm seeing positive ones. Maybe the positive ones are just too busy enjoying the game to speak up. I don't know, but I'm seeing a lot of negative hot takes, and it's not all PvP. There's some other stuff sprinkled in there too. Like some people are a little upset about. Okay, they were open-minded about sunsetting, but then they got the new content, and they're like, "Well, where's the new stuff that we're gonna get?" Like I saw people saying, "Listen, I'm now 10 hours into playing the content, and there's nothing new in my arsenal. I'm still using things I was using last season," and I'm sympathetic to that too. The loot pool seems a little sparse.
Yeah, my new gun is beloved with a bed sheet wrapped around it. Like that's the only real new thing. I've got a grenade launcher that is really trash in my opinion. It's not that great. I would rather have a multitude of other exotics. And I'm very whelmed with the loot. Now, Tuesday.
Hold on. I will interrupt you there. I think the issue is certainly like the loot could have and should have been done maybe a little bit better. But like me and TV, before we started, we're kind of just looking at the different roles you can get for these different weapons. And there's some new perks, that there's like a perk that grants super energy. There's a perk that grants just general ability energy for whatever you have uncharged, right? So that's interesting, but they're on weapons that are like very hard to get. Like Varix's weapons have a lot of new cool stuff, but you get a small amount during the campaign. And they're very tedious to get after the fact. So it's one of those things where Bungie is trying to give you something to do over the next like 2 or 3 months. Like this season will go to February 9th, I believe, right? So you need to have stuff to do, but at the same time, that means that when you first start, it seems kind of tail heavy instead of top heavy.
No, and I totally get that. And honestly, I will say that I've enjoyed that. I have so far spent most of my time with the DLC doing new things. Like in previous content drops, I spent the majority of my first week, leading up to the raid, like, oh, new DLC's here. So I'm going to do all these things I've always been doing. Crucible, to get my rank up, get my drops, strikes and powerful drops, all those same activities we've always been doing. But with this DLC so far, I've spent the overwhelming majority of my time doing new stuff, because you've got the whole Europa quest line. We're not going to spoil any of what you do in the story, but you've got the whole main storyline. After that, it branches out. You've got a couple of other storylines to follow with their own unique drops. You've got the Stasis stuff to go chase down. You've got a whole bunch of quests to do to get your augments and your aspects and fragments, etc. I mean, I'm spending almost all my time doing new stuff right now, and that I like that.
The bad part about those quests though is that they almost border on tedious, especially because you play the certain Exo Stranger quest to get a grenade, and then if you switch characters, you play that same quest to unlock literally the exact same grenade. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, come on, Bungie. You couldn't like just unlock that grenade for all characters.
I get what you're saying. And it's like, see, I'm kind of conflicted because I feel like it feels very samey. You know, we're doing new stuff, but it's like, go use the stasis in a strike. Go use the stasis in Gambit again. And I know that there's no really avoiding that because that's a core gameplay.
The dumbest part is it's always like get kills with stasis for all those quests. And it's like stasis doesn't do any damage. It just freezes guys and then you use other stuff to kill them. So like there's certain quests where it's like kill 10 champions with stasis. Dog shit. Like so bad. Whoever at Bungie okayed that did not play test it because you basically have to like wither them down and like hope you have a charged ability and then like get a stasis melee on them. It plays so bad. If it was under the effects of stasis, fine, but it's always like get a kill with stasis damage and it just doesn't work out well.
Yes, you tap them and then you do like 5 damage, you do a little shuriken if you're on a hunter and it's like, okay, literally. Got it. I feel like the location pretty beautiful. I've had a good time exploring it and you know, unlocking all the fragments and stuff. I like that progression a lot. I even if it's going to get tedious on the other characters, seeing my character get stronger and starting to get these like passive abilities and seeing the build potential, I'm enjoying that quite a bit. It's keeping it fresh. It's like when Forsaken came out and we could unlock one subclass this week and then the next week and the next week because we had to get the Seed of Light. Yeah. That definitely is appealing to me, but I guess maybe I'm just like a little tired of like the overall leveling process, like the power level grind and doing the powerfuls. It's very tired, and we've already talked about this in a whole other episode, so we don't got to get into that right now. But I guess the only thing that's tilting me is Europa needs one more teleport
in the top.
Oh god, they gotta get another teleport.
Every single mission takes place in the top part of Europa.
Yeah, we gotta send you.
Like why? I think if I was to take a gander, I've noticed that with none of these new locations, so the moon kind of, certainly not the new location, and I think it's so that to prevent double dipping on public events. So you can't like do a public event, retravel, do another one, potentially even retravel and do another one. Because like you can't do that with where they're spaced out on like any of the DLC areas. Like even on the moon, it's the same thing. There's one at the bottom where there's no public events, and there's one at the top, but there's no. It's just the Altars of Sorrow public event at the top, right? I feel like maybe they actually thought about doing that, honestly. And if they did, that's so dumb. Like, who cares about double dipping public events? Like, it is getting really annoying to go.
I had a different take. I thought, my opinion, we're all just speculating. My guess was that they wanted you to see the destination. They didn't want you to just consistently
not
skip.
Worth it.
And you know, they want you to at least take it in. You know, they implemented the inclement weather, but if you're just fast traveling everywhere, you're gonna be missing it. I don't know. I mean but I will agree. There's a lot of times when you're doing those quests, you're just like, oh, okay. But one of the things that I always thought they needed to implement would be the ability to fast travel to someone in your fire team, wherever they are on the map. I mean, like Division has that system too. So if you're down here by Varix picking stuff up, you know, I'll be like, I'm just gonna go ahead and head up to that you know, next location. You just fast travel to me when you're done, and we'll all be together. We'll all be working on the thing. But it is tedious, and you're all like, okay, is everybody ready to head out? Let's go there. Yeah.
Dude, so, especially like if you're doing a side quest in like the Braytech facility, your teammate can be like so far away. Like if you join them after the fact, it's like, yeah, it's gonna take you like 15 minutes to get here, right?
Right. We did that today. We were doing the quest, and I went and grabbed a drink, and ZK logged in or went in. He went to the Braytech facility and went all the way to the end because we were trying to get our third grenade. And I was going, and I took my Sparrow, and I started walking through, and I could see his little name on the screen, and I'm like, I gotta be close. Entered 2 or 3 more rooms. I'm like, okay, I gotta be close. It was like 12 or 15 rooms. And I'm like, oh my god, where is this guy? Like he was so far away. It took me it took me all of 10 minutes to get to them. I couldn't believe
That
it.
Braytech facility is surprisingly deep. Yeah.
Right?
Which I guess the good news about that is that Europa is pretty big. Like it's pretty
It is.
sizable. Like
They-
it certainly
But they
feels
gotta
big.
have stuff in there. Like, I know it's Genshin Impact. There's all these chests around, but like, that's the one thing is it's like if you're gonna make me explore the planet, I gotta find some stuff. And the chests in this game, it's not like they have anything in them. It's got like glimmer and maybe you get a blue here and there. But I just feel like a lot of the time, it is kind of just dead space.
So
I want to travel to a spot and I want to do a quest and I want to go to a public event and it's right there and I can see it on the map. But all the other spaces there's nothing in it. I can't find
think
a cool weapon inside something.
there are a couple of things. There's like I was watching someone in my clan who got like a Vexor investigating a signal and did this whole kind of like mini game thing, and at the end opened a chest and got a piece of the new like Europa armor. So that's like okay, like
Like
there's a
little
few
events.
things-
Yeah.
There's a few things. Yeah, they do need to. What I kind of like wish that we would return to. I mean, they did it in the moon with the Altars of Sorrow. Back to what was it in the Plague Lands and the Cosmodrome? That activity, the Siva activity.
Archon Forge.
Yes, Archon Forge, and then you have the
Blind
Court of
Well,
Oryx.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Court of Oryx, Blind Well, but I feel like they need to have one of those for like every destination. Like just like something that's like an activity, even just in a public space, like an activity people can activate, they can do, you're coming in and helping with stuff. Like I think those like liven up the area so much.
How many times did you guys jump in for escalation protocol? They're like doing it and you're like, all right, I'll help.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tons.
Yeah, I actually really liked the escalation. That's an interesting thing, a couple of creators, even Gathalion, had mentioned that. Like, I wish we had something on the Europa that was escalation protocol-y, because we always gigs hopped into that conversation too. Like, I always just enjoyed rolling up, hanging out with the boys, and it's sort of a brainless thing where we're all just chucking supers and shooting the breeze the whole time, and at the end of it, you get some cool stuff.
Yeah. I think that's what it misses, is it doesn't have anything like that. As far as we know, maybe there's something coming. We'll see.
I
I kind of do like, sorry to cut you off. I do really like, sometimes I'll be like taking my Sparrow through a snowstorm and trying to get to where I'm going, and I just see this soft glow through the snow, and I'm like, what is that? And then you kind of roll up and it's a brig,
yeah.
like Scourge of the
Like,
Past
"Ah!"
and he's like, like
they're-
that's cool.
When you first logged in, like the first couple of days, they were like one banging you. Like they were scary. You didn't want to roll up. I would just kind of wait for the storm to dissipate and a little fire. But I guess, I think I will do old stuff if I get new things from it. So if there's world drops that are new, back when there was the longbow synthesis and the 1,000-yard stare, when they add new weapons to the game that I can hunt down, I don't care. I'll do old stuff. But I feel like this expansion is missing that. I feel like
There's a
have gotten nothing new. Like I got like a scout rifle I'm never gonna touch, and like a rocket launcher that doesn't seem any different than any other rocket launcher. I've heard there's one good perk, and so maybe it's unlucky for me that I've gotten all old perks, but I'm feeling a little loot dry.
There is a new like shotgun you can get from Strikes, and there's a new like PvP, but there's only like one. There's like a new Crucible, like pulse rifle and stuff. So yeah, like I see it's I think the adorned being like the whole choice thing. I think you did need like there's one pinnacle for PvP, one pinnacle for Strikes, and one pinnacle for Gambit. So you're like doing these old activities, but you're also making these the pinnacle process and stuff. So it's like you're doing your Gambit pinnacle, and you don't like Gambit, but you're making progress towards something cool.
Or you take that same model, and it's the adorned. It's got a different bed sheet, on it, but it's got like a strike specific perk, a Crucible one. You can use the same weapon model, but I can earn it 3 different times, and it's got maybe a different color. Even like that. Like if you don't want to make new assets, you don't have the art team for that, you don't want new animations for the reload, I will take that even. I don't know if everyone would feel the same. I think some people might get tilted by that, but I just want new things to play with, new builds to create. And I guess that's where some of my frustration is coming from is they said, we're going to take away all your stuff or the mass majority of your stuff so that we can bring crazy new stuff to play with. And then we can get rid of that and bring in new stuff again. And I'm sitting here like, okay, well then where is it? Now it's time. Now it's time.
Listen, the funny thing though is that you ask for new stuff and then they add new stuff in terms of the new supers, but that's what everyone's complaining about in PvP.
That's fair.
Because right now they are oppressive to play against. But there's the people coming and saying, you streamers just want to ruin all the fun and you want to nerf the new stuff.
I'm gonna find the clip and I'm gonna post it in the RGH chat right now from True Vanguard. Like, it is insanity. I'm gonna post the link for you so you guys can see this.
I remember I just made a simple tweet. I was like, yo, Stasis seems like busted in PvP, like eyes emoji. And I got this big comment of someone like, you dumb streamers, like, just learn to adapt, learn to counter it. And we're talking, it's like, okay, how do you counter Stasis? Because we were saying, okay,
you don't play, that's how.
Yeah, you don't play the game, basically. Because if I get stuck with a fusion grenade, so this guy is accurate enough with his throw that he actually sticks me with a grenade, then it blows up, I don't die. I can dodge away. I can put up a barricade, right? I can, if I'm stuck, I have enough time to go, I'm stuck, I can do something about it. If you throw a stasis grenade and it like touches your toe, you freeze solid. So you have two choices. You either stay there for what feels like an eternity, like it is quite a long time, and you are going to die. If that guy has one brain cell and a gun, he's going to kill you. Like, because you just can't move. Or you break out and you have absolutely no health, and then the guy just one-shots you. So it's like, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Like, it's genuinely, for the people saying that this is like, that to just counter it, what is the counter? Bungie unveiled today that if you have more resilience, you'll lose less health when you break out, which is kind of interesting. But like,
we'd have to test that because resilience is like 8 HP. Like, it's probably like these grenades are as good as like a super ability. Like,
they're basically Destiny 1 Viking funeral grenades.
They're so good that they're probably double the utility and value of any other grenade in the game. And the only time something would compete is if you're using an exotic to buff it. So like Controverse Hold with the handheld Supernova, or if you're using what's the Ashen Wake, where you throw the fastball and you're stacking it, and like you can abuse some different things with different grenades, but you're using an exotic. These are just flat out good, and you compare it with some other exotics and other utility.
The thing is, some of them like in my opinion, they do too much work for you. Like, for example, you know that the like cloud grenade that slows you down, so you're trying to run out of it, and if you stay in it too long, you freeze. Well, here's the thing about that grenade. It sucks you in.
Right.
Did you know that? They throw it close to you and it actually moves you. It'll suck you into the center, and then you got to try and run out of it. It's like he didn't place it very well, but it basically tells him that was a perfect throw. You know what I mean? And then with the clip that I posted, there's a fragment for the Warlock that makes it so that when you kill somebody who's been frozen, it will like this ice trail will just go. It'll go take a walk and look for somebody else to freeze. It'll climb up walls. It'll round corners. It'll do anything a colony shot can do. It'll go up on the ceiling if you're up there.
I was playing Rumble, and Warlock in his super, the Stasis super's coming at me and got a little too close, and I had my slam. So I was like, this is perfect. This Warlock is overzealous. He's being too aggressive. Rounded the corner, close range. I'm going to use my slam. I activate it, and in midair, freezes me. I'm like, are you serious? And then he just kills me. So I'm like, okay, so it doesn't even punish you for playing badly. Because that guy was like, I baited him to come around the corner close to me, and it would have been a perfect slam, and he just froze me instantly. And I was like, dude, like, how am I supposed to counter this stuff? Literally the people's counters are like, well, just get heavy and then lock on with a tracking rocket and shoot him in the face. Easy. It's like, bro, dude.
Well, and the thing is not only can the supers 1v1 and dominate every other super in the game, like it's you would have to play really bad to lose that 1v1.
You'd have to have a
right?
golden gun basically.
And you know, in Destiny, I know that my Way the Wraith, you know, Spectral Blade, I can beat a Dawn Blade if I could close the gap. But his advantage is the range. And you know, there's some strengths and some weaknesses, and I know that there's some subclasses I got to avoid them. And that's kind of a skill. If I see a particular super, I know, okay, I'm actually better than that one. I can win this. But in this case, Stasis just wins. But on top of that, not only does the super just win, but when you don't have a super, you can probably beat the person that's in a super now.
Dude,
Stasis freezing is so good for that.
A warlock just came around the corner and did the little melee, and it was an instant freeze. It was like, and then I was just like frozen. I was like, there was literally nothing I could have done. Like, I came around the corner, I didn't know this guy was playing the Stasis subclass. Am I like, aside from checking everyone on the roster and then leaving if anyone is a Stasis subclass, like, dude, literally nothing I could have done was different. And it was such a far range too. It was like, because it just like tracks, it just hit me, froze me, and I'm like, I'm dead. Again, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, breaking up. I think that's the thing. There is a severe lack of counterplay.
Well, I gotta add on that quick. Speaking of counterplay, did you watch the video with Frost, Glad, and Chevy testing out all the Stasis stuff?
Yeah, it freezes everything.
Well, and the Warlock goes through walls.
Oh,
so do you, like any other super in the game, you hide, right? If a Dawn Blade, you run around a wall. There's a Spectral Blade, you run to a different room. You put distance in between. But they could just stand there going, hey guys, I'm doing damage. It doesn't even use any super. It uses 0 super. So if you do somehow, by a miracle, get away, they just tick away at you through a wall. And there's a lot of maps, like Javelin, where you could be hiding in a corner or hiding around cover, and you would think this is the outplay. Nope, you're still dying. You still lose.
But also, like you said, you made a good point where it's like you can have interesting super duels, right? Like I killed a Dawn Blade recently. They were a Dawn Blade, I was a Slam, right? Where it's like I have to play this right, but if I do, I can slam them and then do a quick shoulder charge or something, and I can shut them down.
Right.
With the Stasis supers, you can't lose. The roaming Stasis supers, like if I see a Dawn Blade and I'm the Warlock one, I just shoot at him. Even if I die, I freeze him solid, and my teammate's likely gonna get that kill, right? And it shuts down other roaming supers too. So you shut down 100% of other supers. Like, it seems insane.
Even if you don't get the kill, if there's a Striker Titan riding and you just freeze him, and then he breaks out and you freeze him again. Like, you can send out a lot of freezes.
The one counter though that was revealed again today is, okay, so apparently if you're frozen and you activate your super, like you press your super button, you'll break out and be in super. So the only way to counteract super is to run Thunder Crash and then wait until you inevitably get frozen and then just yeet out of there and hope, pray to God you get him at that point.
That would be cool. I didn't know that.
But have you seen the clip where he's flying through the air like Superman?
If they shoot one time,
you just fall down. So it's just we've never had to deal with this before. We've never had to deal with I mean, this is a complete overhaul of how PvP is going to function. Everyone's going to be running the subclasses and trying to.
There's such cool abilities. I think how you fix it is so simple. Breaking out should take almost no damage, like 10 damage. That's it. Because because now you actually have to like do something active. You have to hold this button, right? You have to be paying attention. And if you do that, you're rewarded with being able to escape. That would change everything. That would make it more reasonable. And it means that if you are running a Stasis super, you have to really be on top of people. If you freeze them, you got just a couple seconds before they can break out to get them, right? Right now, again, you literally wait there ready to one-shot them if they break out, or you just like pick them off and they're frozen for like 45 seconds. It's so long.
Well, people are emoting. Like, that's how much time you have, right? They're flossing. Like, come on, that's a little sus.
You're so secure in your kill that you're like emoting on them before you kill them. It's like, that should tell you there's no counter, dude. If you have time to emote and then kill someone, like, it's too much.
So let me ask you this. Would it be even an option on the table to say, listen, Stasis is so cool in PvE. I mean, freezing the masses, making them shatter. Oh, we love it. But man, people in PvP are just hating it. Is it even on the table? Implement it with the lore and be like, Zavala has issued a decree. Shax has signed off on it. Stasis, they're going to let you use it to fight darkness with darkness. Okay, but we're going to outlaw using it against fellow guardians. We're not going to wield the darkness against our brothers. Is that something that's on the table? Is to say Stasis can't be in PvP?
Nope. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you right now. PvP right now is the most effective advertisement Bungie has for Stasis. Because if you're a free-to-play player and you go into PvP and get yoinked on by some guy with Stasis, bro, you are hitting that buy now button.
Yeah, I'm buying.
So there is no way they disable it, dude. They're probably, I hate to say it, but they're probably a little bit happy this is going on. And I wouldn't put it past Bungie to maybe let Stasis be a little bit better than it should be for this season to motivate sales.
Is it the League of Legends strat? We're gonna release a champion. We know they're busted. Everyone's gonna buy their skin, and then we nerf it. Or they just don't even nerf it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that it's cracked out of its mind right now. Like, they kind of maybe let it slip. Like, let's just put it out, you know? So.
It's interesting, man. And I gotta admit, like, I enjoy using it. It's not that it's not fun to use. It's just that it's not fun to get frozen 8 to 10 times a match. It's fun being on the end where you're dishing it out. Not so fun to be on the receiving side of it. So
Yeah.
I totally get where people are coming from in terms of PvP. I mean, a lot of the more competitive side of the PvP community is very vocal right now. They're like, this is not okay. We do not want this in our game. Anything that takes away from gun skill is something they're going to pounce on immediately, because that's what they love the best in their first person shooters, is they want to be in first person and shoot people. Anything that takes the emphasis away from your gun skill and puts it on ability usage, things that are more approachable for the common gamer, they're going to be vocal against. Whether you agree with that or not, it's just the reality of it. So they have to weigh who they want to burn here. Do they want to burn their more loyal PvP community?
Freeze?
Yeah. Do they want to burn their more loyal PvP community that's in it for the long haul and say, listen, let the masses have their fun? Or are they going to say, okay, we got to dial this back. We need to make sure that our PvP lovers who have been with us through thick and thin, we got to make sure they're still happy with our game.
Yeah. I don't know.
How many times did like trials keep the audience in this game, and the time in between, like, they can't just kill that side of the game.
Breaking out, you take almost no damage. That one change, I think, would make it a lot less.
Yeah.
That
less oppressive. Yeah.
But again, it's like on Bungie. Are you actually going to act fast for once in terms of balance? Like, how long did it take them to nerf the mountaintop? 8 months. It's like, and people are already like sick of that thing. So
yeah.
What about if, okay, so let's say I hit you with that ice. What if it's a delay, so I can maybe finish that duel, or like get behind cover?
You slow and then you freeze.
Yeah,
so
like because some of them are kind of damage over time, or like like the AOE one, it's kind of like tick damage. So it's like if I'm sitting behind cover and I'm eating it, okay, I get frozen. But if if it just touches your toe, should you be frozen? I don't know. And that's something we have to check. Either breaking out faster and taking no damage. Like, I think there's a lot of things that they can do here. And I feel like quite a bit needs to be done to make it feel balanced. Especially because of the super versus super. Because it isn't just the grenades, and it's not just the melees. You start adding all of these in, and they start outplaying you everywhere on the map, in every situation. So
if you're not using Stasis, you're at a disadvantage right now. Like, that's just facts.
Yeah.
Like,
other than the Hunter, maybe, because the Hunter super is pretty bad, and it's not great at shutting down other supers.
But the shurikens are insane,
and they bounce, and they heat seek you
and track.
Yeah,
they
fair.
bounce and track, and you have 2. Like,
fair enough.
So, like, it's just very, very powerful. Now, I don't mind it being powerful. Like, I think that you also do. I will say, and this is even kind of a reflection on myself. Two, I'm sure I fall into this, is like if something is new, you tend to have a lot of people just using it to try it out, and so it kind of inflates the
Yeah.
problems. I really remember this in Black Ops 2 actually, when the first time they added like a gun to a Call of Duty, they added the Peacekeeper, and statistically, like I remember I used to make content way back in the day. I knew like statistically it was not that good. The time to kill just wasn't there. It was just kind of accurate. But everyone was calling it OP because they constantly died to it. And they
Yeah.
constantly died to it because everyone was using it because it was a new gun.
Right.
So that's definitely impacting Stasis right now. Like everyone and their grandma is using Stasis because it's the new cool thing. So it's like, of course you're always dying to Stasis. But I think like with that being said, there's still some real issues here. Like when you can freeze any super and just shut down any roaming super with one shot, it's like, bro,
That's fair. And I
that's
mean, if you look at
insane.
like the mountaintop and you're in a control lobby and there's one guy, the majority of your deaths aren't going to be from that guy with the mountaintop. And he might annoy you, and it happens 3 or 4 times in a game, and you start getting annoyed. But that is a good point, because now with everyone using Stasis, it's like, I got frozen. Oh, I got frozen. Now I got frozen again. I got frozen. I got frozen out of my super. And it starts to build. And so I think that those rage levels and that tilt with it, it's snowballing, right?
And it's a
Mhm.
naturally
it's getting worse.
tilting thing. Like getting
Oh,
killed
yeah.
with one thing. Dude, I get annoyed when someone bastions me, and now you're
Right.
telling me I get frozen, and then they
Yeah, when you're
floss,
helpless.
and then
Yeah,
they
when you're
floss in
helpless.
front of me, and then they bastion me. My tilt levels are through the freaking roof, dude. I'm like punching monitors out here. Like it's just inherently being frozen
Yeah.
solid, still alive, and watching your
When
opponent.
when Crucible becomes pull up a chair and have a front row seat to watching people kill you, that's when it gets frustrating, 'cause you
Yeah.
get frozen and that's what it is. You're like, I get to watch myself die.
Yeah.
And that's really aggravating for players if it's happening a lot and all of their control is taken away over and over and over again. They're gonna start getting frustrated and they might just leave.
Yeah, and again,
PvP.
it's everything. It's the supers, the grenades, and the melees. Like melees instantly freezing people, I think, is like the biggest problem. Because like again, that warlock melee, it just beats every other melee. Like, if I'm charging it with a shoulder charge and you're just like bink, freeze me, I'm like,
I kind of said that too. Like Celestial Fire was already incredible, and this one takes it to another level, because
Yeah.
Celestial Fire, I shoot you and then I finish you with a Celestial Fire, or I Celestial Fire and then I finish off with a gun. But this one is I tag you with it. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm gonna kill you now,
yeah,
right? And I have time to do it, and it's probably like another 20-30% better. And Celestial Fire was already overtuned and better than everything else. So you're seeing this almost power creep with it, and it's tough because in PvP, yes, super frustrating, but I'm not gonna lie, freezing a bunch of enemies, shattering them, it is super satisfying. So in PvE, I think I'm having more fun, a lot
Well,
more fun, right?
we'll get to PvE, but I think we kind of talked about how some reasons why it might not be as bad as people think, the overuse and stuff. But I think also, guys, I gotta say it. I gotta say it. I'm just gonna say it. I think the people pushing back and saying stasis are okay are the lesser skilled players who know they're getting some cheesy kills. It's like you're like, oh, just counter it. Like it's not that bad. Meanwhile, your KD has doubled since you started using a stasis subclass, right? It's like, bro, you know what's going on. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to everyone else. Like you know it's cheesy. You're just like you freeze someone and you get a free kill, right? You finally go positive and you're like, yo, this is fine, bro. Just keep it around.
I don't know about that, man.
I
Because
think that's 100%. Dude,
yeah,
people
but you're
saying
assuming
no,
that
no,
that
no.
guy.
Anyone
Go ahead.
who
I'll
says
let you
stasis
finish.
is counterable does not know what they're talking about, because it's genuinely just not. It's if you have to come up with these hypothetical niche scenarios where you're using a specific subclass and your teammate is in a specific position, like get the fuck out of here. That's obviously not good enough, dude.
I guess the only thing I disagree with is this idea that the only people that like it in PvP are just
No,
bad
no, no.
players.
I'm going far. I'm saying the
I
people
well,
who
well,
I'm just
I
saying the
know.
people who like always are like, oh, just the streamers trying to get it nerfed. It's like, no, dude, anyone can see that there are some issues with it.
Mhm. No, and I agree. There are definitely issues with it, but I firsthand know a lot of my friends who are pretty good players, pretty seasoned players, who just like it because it's fun. And they're not out there wanting the most competitive environment. They just kind of like it because it's fun, and they don't want it out of PvP. and I choose to respect that, even though that's not my stance.
A question for you, because you probably played a lot more comp, Ryan, right? Like, did
Mhm.
you do a lot of comp already? Like, play a lot of PvP?
Yes, yes,
Did you?
both on PC and PS4. Yeah.
One question is, did you at least notice there was a couple games that were a lot closer than they needed to be because of Stasis? Because that was the one thing I noticed is there was some guys that like their strafing wasn't very good and their decision making wasn't very good. And I'm going to push out and make a play, and then I am frozen. And it's like, holy cow, I literally got destroyed. And they're using their abilities and they're winning. And they're doing everything right. It's not their fault. But there was some situations where if it was any other grenade, I'm fine. Right? If it's a vortex grenade, I slide through, I make it out. There's just so many times where I kept going, huh, that's odd. Like, I really feel like I shouldn't be dying to this guy, but it's happening pretty frequently.
No, I get what you're saying. My experience was I got frozen a lot, sure, but I cannot in good conscience tell you that Stasis is the reason some of my games were closer than they should have been. Because here's the reality. A really good player using Stasis is still better than a really bad player playing with Stasis. And we were all using Stasis. My whole fire team, we're all using Stasis. And so, I mean, the day one, we probably won just as much as we lost. It was just really sweaty because there were a lot of really good teams out there,
right?
Trying to rank up.
I guess,
but day 2 and day 3, nah. Like,
yeah. The other thing is like, how competitive do you want this game to be? Because I feel like we're all pretty right on the fact that there is some problems with Stasis, and it's like you can still have Stasis be good. I think that one change we talked about, if you take way less damage when you break out, that would not make Stasis bad. To the players who are getting 100% of their kills right now from freezing guys, you can still do that. It's just you have to try a little bit harder.
You gotta be quicker to get that kill. Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more of a chance to get out. But again, it's like, does Bungie care? And it's like they might just be saying, "Yeet!" Like, we don't care. Crucible is going to be wild. We're going to be adding some cracked new exotics. I mean, the Hawkmoon gameplay came out today, and you can one-tap people apparently if you activate some sort of perk. So, like, are they just going to say, you know what? YOLO, dude. Like, everything's cracked. It's wild. It's a Wild West. It's kind of like Destiny 1 originally for some periods where, like, it's like Destiny 1 when, like, Thorn and Hawkmoon and everything was like, everything's cracked. I can messenger you from across the map. I can thorn you from across the map. You know what I mean? Like, maybe
balance and imbalance,
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're saying, how about everything's cracked? Maybe.
Yeah. No time to explain is better than people are giving it credit for. That's a 2 burst. That's not a rapid fire frame like in D1. And you say messenger, it's basically messenger. You land your headshots, you land all your headshots, it's a 2 burst. I love that thing, especially with the catalyst.
It's crispy, it's got good range, it's got good stability overall.
Scary good range, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I will adapt to whatever. Because I enjoy PvP and I'm gonna always adapt and use the best thing. Right now, I feel like my hunter is not as good just yet as what I've seen from the warlocks, and that's always gonna happen.
Have you seen the Titan slide?
Yeah, like the Titan slide movement is pretty interesting, and then you can
on that,
right?
Baby!
You can chain it into a melee too. You can get some janky little movements going. I think crazy. It's fresh. It's hard to be like sandbox is broken until everyone starts getting these things and getting the counterplay. Because my grenade, when I was playing comp, wasn't as good as some of the other characters because I did some reviews and I spent some other time and I didn't focus on the quest as much. And so, my Stasis didn't feel good. I swapped to some other subclasses and then I got dominated. And so it's kind of, it's on me. It's on me because I wasn't using the best of the best.
So you bring up a really good point though. It's like, okay, here's the worrying part. Stasis, even if you don't think Stasis is overpowered and don't think it should be nerfed, it's like right up there. Stasis, you cannot tell me that Stasis isn't as good as everything else, if not better, right? That's a fact. That's an undeniable fact. It's very, very powerful.
Agreed.
Everyone has one aspect right now. One, because you can only get one per character. You can equip 2 aspects at the same time. And the aspects, like we just said, the aspect for the Titan is doubling your slide distance. That's insane. Like, that's so good. And I get another one. And then when my other one comes out, I can put more fragments on it. So everything you're experiencing in PvP is going to get
It's gonna get
better
amplified.
when more,
Yeah.
when more
Yeah.
things are
Hunter
unlocked.
dodge can freeze you, like on a 10-second cooldown. And so
What?
if we're looking at the Hunter dodge, if you look at like Dynamo, that shit works through walls, right?
Mhm.
And Gemini Jester works through walls. So like how close do you have to be? Is it going to proc through walls? There's a lot of different things here that, depending how they code it, it could either be fair and balanced, or it's going to be insanity. Everyone's going to be dodging around. Everyone's just going to be frozen the whole time. And then you move and you get frozen again, and there's no killing. Maybe it's a pacifist game moving forward. It's freeze tag. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. You can't kill someone if you're frozen, right? So it's just,
Right.
you just bounce it out. Yeah, that's the scary part. But I think, but in PvE, it's fun. It's kind of like, the one frustrating thing is, again, like in PvE, it's hard to kill stuff with it. I wonder how good it is compared to other ad clearing supers that just kill them. I wish it had more of an effect on bigger enemies, like freezing bosses and freezing more powerful enemies. If you actually froze them for a legitimate amount of time, that would be very, very good. Or like if you could stack it and freeze them and stuff like that.
One of the things that we noticed actually for the bigger bosses, what me and my fire team did is we had one guy with the exotic grenade launcher, Salvation's Grip, and then the other two of us had guillotines on, and he would go boom, and he'd freeze up, and we'd guillotine, we'd start swinging, and then as soon as he got thawed out, boom, he'd hit him again, and we just kept wailing on him. It was sort of
Well,
like stun locking.
You can't freeze bosses. Like they instantly break out. Like you can kind of, I guess, stun them, but yeah, you won't
Right, but it is a stun. It is a stun.
Yeah.
It's
True.
especially for the guys that have like big wind up attacks, and big stomps, and the big, what I'm saying. Anytime you
Yeah.
can disrupt that is extra time for DPS that's safe.
That's
Right.
true. The only problem is, like, would it have been better with a third guillotine? You can make that argument pretty easily, right? I don't
But
You
know.
could,
but
sure.
maybe it wouldn't be as safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I can do more damage, but like maybe we would die, or it's more risky.
But then a bubble and a well comes into question. Like
Right.
I'm questioning. It's like, it's fun, it's cool. I'm so happy it's added. It changes the way the gameplay works. But I'm just thinking, am I going to use it in day one raid? No. It's like, I'm just not. To
But
be honest.
when do we get our next aspect? Next week? Like you get one a week, right?
Possibly, yeah.
And so,
One aspect, two fragments each. Is that
Right,
what we're thinking?
but
I'm not sure about the aspect, but
some of them
fragments still
are
get new quests, yeah.
right. Some of them are dodge to freeze, put down your rift to freeze, extending the duration of that freeze. So maybe this scales up really hard.
Maybe.
And
Yeah.
so maybe I see a Minotaur or a barrier Minotaur or something like that, and I freeze, and I've got 10 seconds where maybe we just don't even DPS it, right? Because when you attack it, it breaks. So maybe
Yeah.
there is going to be strats where it's like, all right, stop the Minotaur, just chill out. We'll focus on the other enemy, then we'll do that.
Dude,
that's
freeze
right?
the
It
freeze
could be
the
a
barrier
strat.
servitor, freeze the barrier servitor, and then just kill the ads and get them
Yeah,
out of the way.
that would be perfect, except it doesn't work like that. I can tell you, as someone who's done some of the legend lost sectors and stuff, that doesn't work. You just get clapped. You go to try to freeze it, it stuns for 2 seconds and it one shots you or whatever, right? And it's like, it kind of takes away from the utility of what I would really want to do. If I could actually legitimately freeze it for like even just 1 whole second, let me dodge, let me get the beginning of a revive, man, that would be good. So they need to make sure that it can actually affect the more powerful enemies.
Jumping on that, another big change that was with the mod system and like the barrier champions. Could we jump on that? Because
Sure.
it's a lot more accessible to have weapons and now armor mods that allow you to take out those champions. So when you went and did that quest, like it was a much higher power level. It's probably pretty tough. But did you feel like you had a better chance of taking out the champions and you had to,
Didn't matter. I just use anarchy, and then
Really?
just slow the barrier down. Yeah, that's the only way you can do it at this low a level. Like I went in there with, a that the heavy hand cannon, Ariana's Vow.
Yeah.
Doesn't do enough damage. Like I'm not gonna shoot a barrier champion like 75 times to kill him. Like you gotta just anarchy. That system is better though, because like I said, with the Ariana's Vow, it can actually get it
True.
already pierces barriers and it can get unstopped too. So one weapon can do double duty, and that's
Right.
very cool. And that's going to be great when you're of level, but and making them all armor. Yeah, so the fact that you can use exotic weapons for that stuff, that's all great. I don't know if it'll change metas that much. I think you'll see a little bit more primary usage, but we'll have to wait and see.
Or at
I
least-
liked it because it changed up my approach to the 1250 lost sector, because I went in there with no time to explain, and I got anti-barrier on it, and I ran guillotine. So I just cleared the ads, and then I'd break the barrier on the servitor, and I'd guillotine it, and I got all the way to the end. And then at the end, because no time to explain refunds ammo on crits, I just stayed in the safety of the big doorway and shot the giant servitor in the boss room for several minutes until he died.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Or you could anarchy and then completely be in total cover and just do the same thing. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying, like, I think it's good. I think it's absolutely a good change. I just question if it's gonna, like,
change.
I'm gonna change your mind. Certainly for the lower level stuff, anarchy is so important, but I think that it will change some loadouts, especially, like, there's SMG anti-barrier rounds, dude. The freaking risk runner. If you're versing Fallen, even for this Grandmaster, there's so much arc damage to reduce 50% incoming arc damage. Huge.
Yeah,
Like,
no
very
doubt.
good.
I guess the thing is even if it doesn't fully change the loadouts, one person can probably take out all the berry champions with these changes to the mods,
Facts.
which is
Facts.
nice. So, I'm the guy, I'm the person that takes out the champions, and you guys do DPS. It opens some doors, which is definitely cool.
Yeah, but I think overall Stasis is good. Some of the chat's like, my take is that Kackis would want to remove Stasis. Bro, I suggested one fix about breaking out and taking less damage. That's all I think it would take. I think Stasis is super cool, and I think there are some strategies that are going to emerge. Like we said, it's taking a long time to get upgrades for it, so like in a few weeks, then I think we're going to start to see some builds come together.
Speaking about taking a long time, you see how long it took Twitch to address the DMCA stuff?
Oh my.
They're quiet on all of
What a
it.
transition right there.
They're
Del.
quiet on all of it, man. Just week after week, people complaining and complaining and complaining, just silence, just crickets from Twitch. And so finally, this week, they came out and they made a statement. And they're like, hey, that happened a while back. We're sorry about that. Truth be told, we were dealing with a lot of stuff DMCA-wise. We just got overwhelmed with it. And we didn't make sure that you guys were prioritized during that whole process. We'll try and do better, but you should probably not play copyrighted music. And that was it. Now,
apparently,
Thanks, tips.
Go ahead.
Like,
someone pointed out that this basically is them admitting, like, we got all these DMCA claims and we like sat on them for months and didn't
That's
do
right.
anything about it, and then released them in all one crazy wave, so everyone's like panicking. It's like, what are you doing over there? Like, that's such a poor way to handle it. If they would have like released them as they came in, right? People would have had a much easier time tracking those problematic clips down.
but it's like, the thing is it's not even like, well, don't play music on your stream. It's like, well, don't play any games that have any music in them.
Yeah.
And don't play Grand Theft Auto if the radio accidentally turns on. And don't have a window open because someone driving by listening to Rihanna's "In New York" copyright claim. Like, there's someone who had a lady. Jeez, I wish I would have wrote it down. She had a clip, and there's a 4-second audio bite from Alicia Keys, and that's what got it. That's what got her. And it's like,
Which is so crazy because
how do you defend yourself?
for free use, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to use 10 seconds. You're
Right.
allowed to use 10 seconds of a song. You can't get copyright claimed on that. So, like, and that's, as far as I know, I could be completely wrong. But like, so how are they getting caught for like a roaming? And it's like, and it's also problematic because like a lot of beats are similar. So you'll have like a copyright free beat, but like an automated system may think it's copyright. So you have problems with that too.
Yeah.
And you were telling me, or someone was telling me, one of you guys, that like if they have a copyright free music and they decide to copyright it, your
Yeah, that's
super
right.
old content that was
Retroactive.
it's screwed now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That
My
happened to a bunch of live
montage-
videos.
Yeah, my 50,000 subscriber montage from several years ago. Love that montage. I contacted the artist before posting the video and said I'd love to use the song in a montage. It does say that it's copyright free. I just wanted to verify that before I use it. And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to have you use my stuff." So we did it. Montage went up. It was not 2 months later that video got demonetized because he copyrighted his music, and then that video got several 100,000 views that I didn't make anything on really.
Yeah, like people in the chat are saying like, oh, someone like a Dragon Force or something guitarist was playing
his own music.
Song. His own
guys,
song.
Guys, that doesn't matter. Honestly, everyone always like gets shocked by that, but he doesn't own that music. His recording company does,
right?
It seems dumb,
but it's still funny. But it's still funny. Ironic.
It shows how dumb copyright laws are in total. They were made out of panic when like Napster and everything was happening, and now it's like we talked about earlier, there's such draconian laws because no one is going on LimeWire and getting 45 Trojan horse viruses trying to download a Rihanna song. Everyone has Spotify or everyone has Apple Music because how easy that is to use. Like I genuinely don't know a single person who like illegally downloads music still. Like everyone just has one of those services. So by playing it on your stream, you're only encouraging people to go and download that song. It only makes it better for the artist. And I think
hey, what's this song?
If you ask any artist, that they probably would be like totally fine with it. And these stupid companies need to realize that because they're losing money. If less people are vibing out to songs on stream, they're losing money because of that. Because that's a motivation to buy that's gone.
Right. And the other thing too is it's like, okay, so you're going to mute my clip where I've got muffled like 30% audio behind me while I'm talking, right? If you got this music playing and I'm in the middle of this podcast chatting, you're not like, let's rip the music off of that stream and listen to it on our own. There's not sitting there and they're not like, man, this song is a banger. The only reason I'm watching is to enjoy that song. It's background noise. It's just a little bit. But the amount of people that have said, damn, what is this beat? It's cool. Where'd you get this? And I put my little command in chat. It's insane. Those people would have no idea who Argo Fox is on YouTube. They'd have no idea who this random artist is that I'm playing in another playlist if I didn't have those commands, if I wasn't playing it on stream. And so, it's kind of like with Nintendo, where they're like, no one is allowed to post our stuff. And then they started realizing, damn, we're the only ones doing
we're missing out.
Right? No one's watching Nintendo games or making content on it or promoting it for free. And they're just missing out.
Yeah. It's they really need to take a look at that. It's something that impacts so many people. So, but like no one's talking about it. Like copyright laws impact so many people. I'm very surprised that, there's a lot of political stuff going on. Why is no one's talking about that? It's like, dude, if there's a politician who's like, you know what, we need to take another look at copyright laws. This is a huge thing. What? It's almost as if they're getting donations from these massive companies like Sony and stuff. Crazy. Anyways.
Speaking of Sony, next-gen consoles are here, right? Next-gen consoles are here.
Not for me. Not for him. Not
Monday.
for anyone.
I didn't either.
Hold out till Monday.
5 people watching the stream maybe have a PlayStation, or if you have 5,000 followers on Twitter and know someone at Sony, apparently that's also good enough. You'll get a console.
Actually, let's ask who in chat actually has a next gen console. You can't get them online. People are reselling them. There are bots buying them, and it's impossible. Yeah. It's impossible.
You can't compete with the bots. That was my process today. So today was heavily advertised across multiple different vendors. Like, hey, we're gonna make them go online for online orders at noon Eastern, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Those are your windows. Get in there. And what it was me, my wife, and a friend in a different state, all 3 working together to get me a console today. And so every time one of those windows came up, we jump in there, put it in the cart, get to the checkout. Nothing. It's out of stock. You couldn't even get it to the checkout in time. Across 3 people trying to get one console, none of us got it, right? So I broke down. I was like, you know what? Nope. I'm gonna buy one marked up. That's what I did. I bought one marked up. It'll be here Monday.
And what a scumbag! Like, I don't even want this Xbox. I just want to make $400 or whatever. Like, it's just it's rough.
Like, what happened to all that CAPTCHA shit? What happened to all the verify you're not a robot stuff? Like,
Yeah,
right. I gotta do that.
I gotta do it everywhere. I'm like, which screen has the Pringle can in it? And it's like, well, I can't. Is that the lid? I'm not sure.
Dude, it makes you do that when you're like logging onto RuneScape, but when you're trying to buy a $500 console, it's like, you're good, boy, just get on in here. It's like, where the heck is that verification?
Right.
Like, it's or like click the traffic lights, and it's like a 100p photo, and you're like, does that count? Does the like traffic light pole count as part of the traffic lights? So you're like, oh,
and then it's like, well, there's a construction light. Is that traffic technically? It's like choose the car, and there's like a van and a truck, and I'm like, well, are you talking vehicle or only car? Like I don't. Oh man,
it's so dumb, and it's where like seriously, how can bots be like? Why is there no verification? If there was, I feel like you wouldn't have these problems. It's just bots.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal out there.
And Target even advertised that they were going to try and help people bypass that process by making you make your online order to a direct store near you. It didn't help at all. They were all, I had a list pulled up of the 8 closest Targets to me, and they were all out of stock the whole time.
Right. Yeah. But it's also like, yo, just make more PlayStation 5s. Like, what are you guys doing over there? They're like, we'll make 7 and we'll see what happens. Like, oh, come on. Like,
I want to see the numbers. Yeah. I mean, you raised an interesting point. I don't want to immediately throw shade at Sony for a lack of production, but I would be interested to see the numbers and see how many were ready to ship, on day one. And then in the second wave, I want to see how many have been claimed so far and kind of compare that to, projections ahead of time.
And to like, the last gen, it's like how many were ready to be sold? Because it just seems really difficult to get these things. Like for mine, I got it no problem back in the last gen. No, like you didn't even have to wait in a line hardly. This time,
now we talked about it earlier though that like I said, just make more PlayStations. Potentially they could, and like I said earlier, they might. Like this is good for PlayStation because right now, guess what? It looks like everyone in the world wants a PlayStation. Like when in reality, maybe not. I think Xbox is doing well too, but of course they're scarce as well. So it's basically making it so that if you are like in a store and you see a PlayStation and you are kind of on the fence,
you're like, I gotta get it.
Yeah, you're so motivated to buy because you're like, dude, like this is my only chance, or else it's gone, or else a bot's gonna get it, right? So I feel like PlayStation could be really ramping up production, and they're gonna be everywhere come Christmas time. But now you have a bunch of people who are convinced that if they don't buy literally right now, they'll never get it because it's so scarce. So
that's fair.
That could be a part of it too.
Every single person who gets one posts it. I got one. Like it's just
it's, exactly
right. It's kind of like with the 3080.
FOMO, man. FOMO.
Yeah, fair enough. The nice thing is companies that you can actually get their product from, and when it's really high quality and gives you the energy you need to be gaming for Beyond Light.
Oh, there you go.
Like Advanced GG, where is it? Advanced GG has a bunch of fantastic flavors. They are our one and only sponsor of the channel, and you can actually get 10% off. You can get 10% off the only clinically tested energy supplement for gamers out there. Right? It's proven to give you more energy, more cognitive capacity. So you got to check it out. Advanced.gg, use code RGH. Get 10%
I've been
off.
sipping on that the Frostbolt berry.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Got a little kick,
good.
It's pretty good.
I had some the Frostbolt flavor, and I was actually hitting some snipes after, dude. You should.
Yeah, right. You were hitting snipes. You froze them first. Don't lie.
I will tweet out. I will tweet out. There are some shots that you're like, bro, this guy should be in phase. Like there,
okay.
Hitting
Did you say shots?
God.
Did you say shots?
Bro, I was hitting some shots. Let me tell you, they were good.
Oh man. Speaking of shots, if any distilleries or breweries want to sponsor us, we would love to work with you.
But yeah, every time if there's any distilleries or breweries that are watching, we would love to. We'll just all we ask for is free product, and then we don't even need any money.
I had a brewery reach out to me yesterday. Actually, I should bring up the podcast to him.
Yes, you should.
Oh, we have it in. Vanguard's looking at it. He's like, he's not even thinking about us. He's like, how much can I?
They literally said, hey, we noticed that you have tweeted out pictures of our beers a handful of times. That's pretty cool. Do you like our stuff? And I was like, yes. Yes, I do. Cool. Maybe we should talk.
We noticed you're one of the only content creators that's like a raging alcoholic. Like, like an
oh, you know
obvious-
that's not true. You've been to Guardian
I
Con.
Me,
we looked at your Twitter feed and we saw nothing but alcohol. So we were pretty interested in getting in here.
Okay.
me is like Bacardi Breezer is like, hey, we saw you sipping on one of those. Like, do you want to do an Instagram integration?
Jeez.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. Tash has got to go into the different market. The like, Bacardi Breezer. Try to see if Mike's Hard wants anything.
Oh,
to do with that.
that's too tough for me. I can't do it. It's gonna be like a 3% alcohol content.
Mike's Hard Light. Mike's Light. Mike's Soft. That's what it is.
And that's my branded
your
Mtashed
brand.
Mike Soft.
We just said Mike's hard way too many times in one podcast for me.
And then we said Mike's Soft a bunch too. So
So
Alright.
is it the end of the podcast so we can get back to the grind?
yeah, basically, I think we gotta do we're gonna do it's gonna
We'll
be
do a short after show.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do a very short after show. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch chat to members only. Now, if you're not a member, don't worry, you can still hang around. We're gonna be taking some questions from the chat. If you do want to become a member, we're gonna be posting a bunch of links in the chat, so you can just click it, or you can just click the join button. It's a way to support us. That's how we got our amazing Get Wrecked designed everything and emotes. We got to fund all that stuff, and we got to fund True Vanguard's crippling whiskey addiction. That's honestly
Bro,
it's going
this cost you could buy 36 of these bottles for that one Versace robe you wear.
That's a good deal.
Also, yeah,
That's
that's
not
a
bad.
good, one of us. I don't want to say who one of us did buy a Versace robe, but that's neither here nor there. No big deal.
Okay.
So,
thank you
yeah,
guys so
anyway,
much for being here though. Like just stay around. We're gonna have like a nice little chat. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure to hit the bell. Normally we will be doing the podcast on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We just had to move it because of YouTube being dumb.
YouTube literally shut down.
Yeah. So, but let's have a little chat. We're going
Let's kick
into
Let's kick into high
membership.
gear, baby.
Thanks everybody who watched.
Bang. Now we also got a $5 donation from Gideon. We got a membership upgrade. Dale T became a member. Eldest Freeman, thank you guys for doing what you do. Stoked to see what your new venture lands you. $10 from Eldest. And then a new member from Who Makes the Law. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Someone made a chat comment. I'm gonna say something really interesting. Is that like they're like, oh well, how didn't you guys like get consoles? And I think legitimately it's super hard if you're Canadian, I feel like, because there's like an Xbox Australia, right? There is an Xbox Britain. There's like all, so if you're a creator within those areas, you're it's kind of a smaller mesh of people, and it's easier to get in contact with Xbox Australia. Now there's no Xbox Canada division really in terms of content creation. We get lumped in with North America, and like everyone is in North America. So they're giving Xboxes to like Logan Paul and all the massive creators, and you like True Vanguard and Rick Kackis are pretty far down that list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Genshin Boy over here might be a little higher than normal, but
Okay.
you know,
You're gonna be Mr. Million here in like a month, right? I'm refreshing it because I'm gonna be the first person to post. How the hell did you get to 1 million? You clickbaiter.
I know. Bro, I saw the thumbnail and I watched the video and I learned a lot. That's freaking clickbait.
Right? I know. Oh, I'm sorry I have a
Don't get 'em
captivating
started.
title. Like, I'm sorry I have a captivating thumbnail that you want to clip.
No, listen,
Whatever.
one word was capitalized. One word was all caps, bro. That is literally, you're basically forcing me to watch. I have no self-control. I have to click it, bro. Anyways.
Marcus Tricky came an elite gamer. Marcus, thank you so much. And me Holmes with another membership as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the support. We are getting
Absolutely.
emotes. Like we're still trying to figure that out.
We just got to.
But we
Just gotta
we
commit,
also
yeah.
we're also paying our editor. Like you guys are literally, I think that's with the amount of memberships we have, it's enough to pay the editor for the month. So that's pretty cool. We're hitting
we
these
appreciate that.
milestones where we're actually able to like keep the thing running and doing really well and keep the production up, and because it's a lot of work to do a new podcast, and we're all trying to make our content and stream and do videos, and just the sheer amount of hours, especially when new content comes out. But I have to say, it's a nice break, and being able to just like chat about this and do the podcast still. I was looking forward to it.
Now, Kiwi kind of doesn't have a question. If you are a member, ask some questions, ask away. But he brings up a good point saying, "Oh, I hope there's more weapons." And I will say, interestingly, like Bungie revealed Season of the Hunt stuff, right? They didn't talk about new weapons, but if you look in the database, there are some weapons associated. So when Season of the Hunt starts on Tuesday next week, there are going to be like 3 or 4 new weapons with new perks that are available there. We also got the Trials Adept weapons. There's also a bunch of raid loot too. That's a whole nother loot pool.
Yeah.
I think that we talked about earlier, like it seems like they're kind of very strict about getting new weapons off the start. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of new weapons, but there actually is. And then like over the course of this season, especially since like this content, because it's a paid expansion, it's not going away. Right. Varix is not going away. You'll be able to grind that as we continue forward. It's just like, were they a little too strict with letting us get in there? We'll have to wait and see.
You would think one of the reasons why Bungie is making breaking ice so easy so that you need someone by you to break. Oh, like when you shoot it? I mean, it could be maybe like a little bit of team play.
It takes so much to like a full shotgun shot doesn't even break it sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Yeah, some people talked about trials getting delayed. Yeah, I was gonna team up with True Vanguard and carry his butt the whole time.
That's right.
No, but in all seriousness, I was looking forward to it, dude. The adept weapons, I think people are sleeping with how cool the adept weapons are. I'm very much looking forward to that. I think they're cool.
But all the archetypes are like, and the perks on them is like, who cares? You're getting like fractionally better stats on Eye of Soul. What? Give me one gun, then I'm like, ooh.
Okay, so the shotgun, right?
Astral.
Okay, so the Astral's very good already. And remember, you have special adept perks, including just stat increases. So you can put range as a mod for the gun. So if you get the Astral with a range masterwork and then put on the range adept mod, it's going to be plus 20 range for that shotgun in total. So you get plus 10 more range than is possible for a non-adept version, which could really, really matter. Also, you want me to keep going? For the sniper can get triple tap, and it can also get Vorpal weapon. It's an decent archetype, but here's the thing. One of the adept mods is adept mag, which gives plus 40 instead of plus 30. Now, if you can get one extra round out of a sniper when triple tap is involved, like that's that one extra
big
round,
DPS up. Yeah.
It could be it's kind of snowballs. So that's kind of why I'm interested. Is like there are some guns that could actually become quite viable. Even the auto rifle, like now you're giving it. I think there is an adept target adjuster too.
Right.
So
yeah, fair enough. Especially with the changes to aim assist, maybe that's that's a big.
I mean, it's a medium zoom scope.
Yeah, I saw.
So if you get like quick draw, I think quick draw or snapshot plus the extra damage against supers and adept target adjuster, medium zoom scope, yeah, like that could be really good.
Yeah, that's true. This is a good one. So I'm sorry if you guys discussed this before. Which of you had the idea for this podcast, and how did you rope in the others?
Me. And I had to rope them in for so long. They said no for so long.
No, that is a lie.
Dude, I swear, I tried to convince.
No.
I for sure tried to convince Mtashed, and he was like, no.
See,
I
have a different answer to this.
Whoa, randomly?
No,
randomly? He just said yes finally.
No, because you both had brought it up at different times.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Well, I think Ryan brought it up first, and it was like
Fuck you.
Do I want to make a podcast?
It's true.
Like, do I want to get
Well,
into a podcast?
The genesis of this thought was actually a year and a half ago.
Bullshit.
Don't
No.
interrupt me. You
No.
said your piece. It was a year and a half ago at Guardian Con when we were like, man, how cool would it be to be able to do a live show at a place like this? And we literally, me and Kackis sitting down, having beers together, said together, we could do that. Year and a half ago, we could do that, couldn't we? He just doesn't remember it because he's a lightweight. But that conversation happened between me and Kackis, but it was about the three of us. And and then we just kind of ping-ponged the idea.
So the real story,
so long.
for what you're saying here, is that you want to do it, and I want to do it, and whoever came up with it first, it doesn't matter. We literally came up with it years ago. We wanted to do it, and then Tash was the one we had to like rope into this and kept denying it. And now finally that we're doing it, is banging, dude. We're popping off.
I literally want to quit. I've wanted to quit this whole time. I hate this. No, it's good. It's been fun. It's like our little baby, and I feel like we're doing pretty good. We had like almost 900 viewers today. Everyone's gaming on
the wrong day.
We're on the wrong day. Like, that's actually pretty damn good for this channel.
Plus,
starting out.
Thank you.
It's a great backup for Tash when he gets banned on his main account for whatever infraction he did that week.
Who knows?
Also, another part of it that's nice is, for me personally, I have to force social time. I really, really do. Like, I will bury my head in my work. I'll bury my head in grinding and playing and streaming. But to have like a forced time every week where I sit down with the guys, even if it's in front of a bunch of people, we just sit down, we talk shop, talk gaming, and just shoot the breeze. It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just legit fun, and we get along well. That's why we can't ever have a guest, because they might be funny and it'll ruin everything.
And we'll hate them for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yo, A1X4 with a brand new Elite Gamer, Connor. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Someone said like sliding. Well, we went with the Titan Hunter ice thing break. I don't even know what that guy's saying, but the Titan slide. He just talked about. I think he's talking about the Titan slide. Like, oh, dude, it double the. So some of the stuff you can do, like some of the new stuff, the Titan slide doubles your slide distance just for putting on the aspect, and I think it stacks with Dune Marchers. And now imagine double slide distance, and then you put Antius wards on, so you're like protected for like double the distance. Holy crap!
Oh, we gotta test that.
Yeah, exactly. There, I'll expect a cut of the revenue for that video, Tash. And then also just the like you showed the warlock being able to freeze and it follows. Also, if you have the hunter helmet where you like disappear and reappear, it's double the distance of a dodge. And you can dodge through stuff. You can dodge through it. You could, like, where you disappear, and it's kind of like Blink. You can go through a Titan barricade and you come out the other side not damaged, as far as I know.
Can you go through an ice wall?
I think you can, yeah. So
we're going to test that after.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was like 4 a.m. and I was still grinding on my hunter, and I just decided to go to bed. I should have stayed. I should have got it, dude. I had the Titan one. I was gonna wear the new Titan helmet when we played Trials TV, because if you get rezzed or you res, it gives a shield.
It looks really useful.
Yeah. Dude, I was like, dude, I'm gonna die all the time. I know that for a fact. So I just, when you get me up, boom,
There we go.
you know what I'm saying?
I want to see a meme. I want someone to make a meme where it's like somebody puts up an ice wall right in front of a hunter and it says, call an ambulance, but then he blinks through it, but not for me.
And also, on that note though, is what was I gonna say? Can you maybe foresee in the future Trials carries must have precious scars, right? Because like
right,
if you're doing a carry, that is the best thing that your carry can run, is like gives you an overshield for rezzing him, or when he rezzes you, everyone gets an overshield. Like that is like the Sherpa dream, dude. Yeah. And Marashax, we talked about Trials being disabled. Pretty interesting. We're saying you're gonna have to wait all the way to the 27th to carry you, TV. Oh my gosh.
Well, I think it's because they found like an unlimited super, that cheese forever guy. He found an unlimited super. That's probably what it is. He just
posted it, like other people knew about it, right?
Right.
But yeah, like it's, if you the thing is, you kind of have to do a macro. Like it's pretty hard to do from what I could tell. So, but obviously, if someone is doing that and they have literally unlimited super, that's not good.
It's if you have 2 teams doing that in a single card, that's it.
Exactly.
You think that people will do trials on console more now that the next gen is out to avoid cheaters?
I think
Yes.
so.
Probably, especially with
100%.
the update for the frames. I absolutely see that happening.
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, 60 frame per second and console
120.
120.
120.
Excuse me, in PvP 120, everywhere else 60, and adjustable field of view slider, which
Right.
is huge.
The only other question is, will there be M&K compatibility?
Hope not.
I hope not too. Yeah, I'll be honest.
But like for me, if I get my hands on a next gen console, especially, I mean, I think that's where I would play trials cards because yeah, like all you need is one team to be cheating and it could just ruin it for you. So
I feel like you can also, if you're a good player, you can punish people with your movement and your decision making a little harder on console. Just because,
Yes.
like on PC, if you make an error, you just go and you whip your mouse and you're like, oh, I'm back behind cover.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you're an excellent player like Ryan against like a medium player, he can punish those little errors very hard. Where on PC, that fraction of time is just like not as easy.
For
to punish.
example, I did some grinding on comp on PC the other day, and it was I literally at the end of this moment I said I freaking hate PC sometimes, and it's because I'm used to playing on console. I had a nice double kill, and I was going for the triple in comp for the team, wipe annihilation, and I got the drop on the guy. He had no idea I was behind him, and I was like, got him. And he was clueless, and I get 3 shots in him with my sidearm from behind, and he whips his mouse around, and he goes from running this way to having a quick draw shotty in my face and one banging me in a fraction of a second. It was literally just a swipe and pull the trigger, and I was dead. And so, like, from my perspective, physically, that just doesn't make sense. Like, people don't do that. It's a maneuver that doesn't make my brain doesn't compute that. People don't slide through their own feet in the opposite direction, and you know what I mean, and whip
Right.
out a shotty, and that doesn't happen where I'm from, and I hated it.
Yeah, the whole physics of that is off. And like in most games, it's like you get full sprint like this, and if you turn too much, it starts to slow off. And if you like try to whip that hard, you lose your sprint. But in this game, it's like, no. You do it fast enough,
Yeah.
you can just launch in the other direction. So then you throw in the Titan sliding, and like
Yeah.
you can get these crazy movement things going on that are sus, if you will.
a little sus, yeah, exactly. You see someone, yeah, sliding into their own feet backwards. Yeah, you're like that.
You literally just paralyze yourself for life with that maneuver.
Right. Tater and Unwounded Admin new memberships. Thank you guys so much. TV
Hey, Aaron.
Knees equals TV Lewd. Worth us up. Oh.
He's a good dude. He's a Canadian too.
That's what I like to hear.
the best kind.
All right,
All right, guys.
is that it? I think that's it.
I think we're good.
We're gonna cut it a little bit short because we got some grinding to do.
Yeah, I
At
gotta get
least
some
for me, dude,
aspects.
I'm grinding my absolute butt off. We're doing some crazy stuff. Already doing the Legend Lost Sectors solo. We got tomorrow.
Are you doing the 1280s solo?
Not yet. The 1250s.
I'll say I did 1250, but not 12.
Well, like I was doing them real early. So,
Nice.
but it's just kind of interesting with those Lost Sectors. I'll just say it's interesting. Arms, helmets. That's it. That's it, right? There's no. All 3 classes have. There's 3 helmets and 3 arms for the 3 classes. So it's like the arms Lost Sector and the helmet Lost Sector are lit out of their mind, and everything else is trash.
No.
I don't know why.
Stompies. How many people are still looking for a God Roll Stompy, God Roll Transversive?
True. I'm just talking about like the new exotics, right? It's like they're all in 2 of those Lost Sectors. I just
Mhm.
find that kind of curious. I thought they would have spaced them out a little bit more, like have a hunter chest piece
Sure.
or have, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I feel you.
but yeah, no, it's just kind of a weird thing.
Yeah. And well, I guess we won't know yet, but if you get the drops, then will those just give you arms, helmets
I would
of
assume
all
so.
of them? If that's the case,
Yeah.
I'm going to targeted farm a worm husk. You know?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Take it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. Have a great
Love
day,
you.
everyone. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. RGH will be back with all the gaming content.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Goodbye.